Well, hello, friends. This is Grace Gallagher from the CKG Foundation, and I am here via Zoom with Ellie and Riley Torrance. I'm so excited to have them be a part of this conversation. We're all about speaking up, and it's a little bit of a new world right now. And we just thought it would be really fun to share with all of our friends and whoever's watching some of the just real things that are hard and things that worry us and things that are maybe even good. But we really wanted just to have an open and honest conversation, and maybe it makes some people out there not feel alone. So first of all, can you guys introduce yourself and tell everyone what grade you're in?
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Ellie Torrance. I'm a ninth grader at St. Catherine's, and this is my little sister.
I'm Riley Torrance. I'm a seventh grader at St. Catherine's.
Great, that's wonderful. So Ellie and Riley, I would love to know, what were your first thoughts when, it's not been that many weeks, but really when you started hearing about this thing called coronavirus? Like, what was the first things y'all were thinking about? Like, is this the flu? Like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing that really introduced me to it was that we had a speaker come for, we call it X period, during our day, and she came and talked about viruses, and she brought up coronavirus, and it was something that wasn't really in the news yet. So I think that was the first thing that really popped in my mind. But it wasn't really something on my mind. It was just back there. It didn't really affect me, but now it definitely feels more real than it did then.
For me, it was mostly we were going to school and stuff, and my friends, we would kind of joke about it, and we would all be it doesn't really matter to us. It's on the other side of the world, so it doesn't really matter. But now that we're out of school and we can't see our friends, it's more this actually has something to do with us, and this could affect us.
It's kind of interesting, isn't it, how, we look at the big world out there, and you think other countries and places are so far away, and then something like this happens so quickly, and it feels like the world's really small, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of wild. So tell me right now, you guys have been doing some online schooling. I know that you guys have some great parents that keep you really, really on schedule with that. But tell me a little bit about when you first heard about this online schooling, and let's not today, but let's go back maybe 2 weeks and tell me what you thought about, or what you felt about it, or if it was annoying, if you thought, woo, we're on vacation, snow day. What were your thoughts and feelings when it first came up about online schooling?
So for me, being an upper schooler, I was this is a break. It's going to get so much easier. They really cannot give us that much work. So I was pretty excited about it. Then I didn't really realize that Zoom is basically just school without any of the fun parts. So, yeah.
Yeah. For me, I kind of thought the same as Ellie, but in the middle school, it's more our teachers are always there, and they're with us for everything. And so I was kind of thought oh, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be a break. But then I realized that they can still give us, it's all the work, but our teachers won't really be there all the time for us, and we can't ask them questions constantly like we do at school.
Yeah, so maybe it's the teachers that aren't getting all the questions, but I do know from my own kids that there is that little button on Zoom that you can raise your hand. So it's pretty interactive. And I have to say that I'm pretty impressed with you guys on, adjusting so quickly to this online learning. And, a lot of things we don't have a choice on, and a lot of things we can't control. So now we're going to get into a little bit more of the hard stuff on that feeling of not being able to control things. And when you think about online schooling, you're in the house with your parents all the time. Both of you are at ages where you kind of want to start spreading your wings a little bit and have a little bit more independence. And that isn't quite there as much right now. So what are you doing to try to feel like you have a little bit of space around you inside your house? What little things are you doing?
Well, for me, like our schedule, there's like this like time we have like an hour we have like between where we don't really have anything to do. And so what I like to do is I will like FaceTime my friends and have like a big group FaceTime and like still talk to them about stuff I would talk about with them about at school, and like try to just keep that normal instead of like being like I don't really get to talk to them. And so it's nice to like have those like opportunities to still be able to talk to each other even though we aren't very close to each other.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's definitely just telling my family members when I need the space to just be left alone with my thoughts. And personally, for me, I love being outside. So maybe like going on a walk with my dog has been helpful, just to like release all the stress of the school day and just forget about it and just walk. And that's really helpful. And I don't know, I like being around my family, so it's not horrible to be stuck with them.
That's great. And you know what I love that you just said there, Ellie, is that you said that you know how to tell someone when you need your space. And I hope that when, we go back to some sense of normalcy, that you carry that with you, and maybe you've just given some people a really good little nugget of wisdom, so that even when you're not going through something like this and you need some space, you've got a power in your voice and you can say, hey, I need a little bit of time and a little bit of space. And that's pretty courageous and very, very thoughtful and wise of you. So I'm really glad that you shared that as well. But we're also going to get into a little bit of honesty. And I will tell you guys and be very honest with you, here in my house, we've had several meltdowns, and
Yes.
including myself. I have had some of those meltdowns where, I don't know about your parents, but I get really grumpy. I might yell at my kids a little bit more. Maybe they feel like I'm breathing down their neck a little bit more. And you know what? I've also, just out of the blue, burst into tears, and I didn't know why. So let's get into that real honesty right now and make sure everybody knows, out there, we already have the, perfect pictures out there on social media that before this happens. And now we have people, in their fabulous gardens and their homemade this and all this stuff. It almost puts more pressure on you, where you're trying to get used to this. You're trying to get used to this life, and there's a lot of worries and unknown out there. So let's just be honest and talk about having meltdowns. Tell me, has either one of you had a meltdown yet?
I have cried
Yes.
at least 7 times because I've missed my friends so much. It's just like I'm such an extrovert. Like I get my energy from my friends. And I think being with my family brings out like a different side of me. Maybe I'm not quite as nice as I am to my friends, but like it's just different and it's hard to adjust to. I'm going to be completely honest. I cry all the time about missing them. It's just hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
We were at dinner the other night, and one of my family members brought up that we haven't been together this much since we were all like toddlers, since we're always like out and about doing like sports and stuff, and we're not like close as a family that much like as now. And so like it's been hard because you don't really get to see a lot of other people besides your family, and sometimes you're with them all the time and you guys know each other so well that they sometimes drive you crazy.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I absolutely agree. And some of the littlest things and the smallest things can